afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to PBTV. I'm Stu, and we are live on YouTube and Facebook. So we've covered RunCam before, but we've just received their new RunCam 2 4K. So we're going to do a little unboxing of the two that we've got. If you have any questions on RunCam at all or some of the accessories, please drop your questions down below. We'll flash them up on screen and make sure you get it answered as quickly as possible. So we have two different lens versions here. We've got the 40mm and the 25mm. So obviously one's going to be better for sniping, one's going to be better for your SMGs and ARs and things like that. But the shorter one will probably still sort of factor in with snipers and maybe DMRs as well. The 40mm is mainly designed for sort of between 30 and 70 meters engagements and things like that. The 25 is recommended between 20 and 50, but again, that's just recommended. If you're reaching out beyond that, it's still going to record it and you're still going to get some good footage that you can splash all over YouTube. So we'll start with the 40mm. Straight off the bat, the packaging's a lot smaller because there's a few different features with these. So in both boxes you will get an instruction manual that's got all the information about SD cards, how to charge it, how to set it up. I'm not really going to go into all the button programming because it'd be a bit of a boring video, and that's what the instructions are for. So it is a simple camera, and the charging cable is underneath the plastic packaging, but this is the 40mm. Immediately, when we got these out, we noticed they're much slimmer. They are a little bit heavier. These things are coming in about 140 grams. That's purely because they are now CNC'd aluminium, all sealed and fully waterproof. The previous ones were plastic, so they were a little bit lighter. But again, they've just tried to up the game massively with these ones. So as you can see, this is the 40mm, and what that means is in the camera world, that is the distance between the lens and the sensor, and that also changes the angle that this thing can see at. So with the longer distance, it is a narrower field, but it does see further, simplifying it quite a bit. So that means this is looking out, and its focal range is between 30 and 70 meters for a sharp image, and it has two controls on the bottom. Unlike the previous model, I think it had 3 buttons on the original model. We do still have the original model, because there is a bit of a hefty price difference between these as well. The old ones are a lot cheaper, but this has a lot of features on it that do sort of speak volumes for that new price point that these are at. So we do have the standard on-off button. This is also how you change and turn off the Bluetooth, the Wi-Fi, and everything like that. It's all single button controls. The button at the back here is actually a slider. So previously, you used to have to press and hold or tap or anything like that. On this, it is simply slide it forward. You're probably not going to be able to hear it because now it doesn't beep anymore. I don't know if you'll... You might be able to hear it on the table, but instead now this thing actually vibrates like your phone. So when you get a text message or like that, and it goes, that's what this thing does. Means that if you're turning this on and off whilst you're being a little bit more stealthy, gillied up in a bush, hidden behind trees or anything like that, it's much more stealthy to turn it on and off. And it's simply slide it forward, it will start recording. Again, the instructions dictate how long it takes, your settings and everything like that, and it simply starts recording, stop recording. It's currently just flashing red now every time I turn it on because there's no SD card on it, and it's just one of the information flashes that I have on there. Various different colours dictating Wi-Fi, recording, on, off, etc. So on the back, we do have a USB-C charging point, and underneath this little rubber cover is where you will put your SD card. So it does tell you in the instruction manuals, and we have had previous models returned for people saying that they weren't working purely because they weren't using the correct SD card. So they are recommending anywhere from a 32 to 128 gig SD cards, and it must be a fast SD card as well. So make sure you're using a class 10 or higher, because otherwise it can't record fast enough. You'll either start losing frames or it will just simply not work at all if you don't have the correct SD card in it. Reaper back as always. Good afternoon. Is the glass reinforced? Yes. So on this, the actual perspex or the glass in front is a lot thicker than it used to be. And an added bonus is if you screw this cap off, you can simply take the O-ring and the glass off and replace it. I'd be very, very surprised if these do actually get shot out that often. It is much thicker glass, but again, it could get dirty, it could get scratched. So it's not necessarily whether or not it's going to get shot out and crack or anything like that. Just over time, if it's in your gear bag, it starts getting scratched, dirty. You are playing a sort of quite aggressive sport outside, running around woodlands. It can get dirty. It's going to get some damage over years of use. It just means there is an option to replace it down the line. Scottish Cat 32, another regular. How long is the battery life? Good point is the fact that the batteries are not replaceable on this one. It is a fixed set battery. Sort of a pro and con with that. You can't just swap them out, but it does have a boasted 240-minute recording time on this. Obviously, that is dictated by your SD card, but that's what they're saying in the specs. Bit of a bonus with this one, though, is the USB-C port at the back will allow you to just simply attach a battery pack. So if you do have this on a rail or anything, you've got a spare rail section and you've got a power bank, you can either permanently fit one or you could just charge it up between games. Click your battery pack in, it'll trickle charge it slightly and you'll be good to go. So I'll quickly get the 25mm out just so you can see the difference, and then we will have a look at some of the accessories as well. So you can blatantly see the difference between the 25 and the 40mm. Yes, they're different lengths, but also that will dictate the width what this can see at. So the 25mm, obviously designed to be used in engagements from 20 meters to 50 meters. That is just purely a manufacturer's recommendation, purely on focus range. Anything beyond that or closer, you're going to be get a slightly blurred image, but you are still going to be able to record. Again, the controls on this exactly the same. You have your on-off button, press and hold, turns on. You can click through it, change all your settings, and you have the same on starts recording, off to stop recording. So again, these can be used on any platform you want. Obviously, it's snipers, DMRs, and things like that. SMGs, even pistols. So I have brought some examples out, if I can get hold of this. So it does have an inbuilt rail attachment. So rather than having to attach anything, you can simply just attach this to any rail system you like. So you could simply screw that onto a pistol. Yes, it's going to record upside down, but again, if you're editing or anything like that, you can just rotate it in post or wherever you are posting it online. Again, with SMGs and things like that, putting this instead of a front sight post, or again, underneath instead of a little grip, using these as almost like a foregrip or something like that is totally acceptable, and it just means you have access to that on-off button. So that's the 40mm and the 25mm. One of the big changes and a new accessory that has come out for RunCam is, I'll get the boxes out of the way, is what they're calling it the Flashback cable. So it is simply a pressure pad, but a pressure pad for your camera. So these are a separate item, and it looks like anything you'd attach to your normal torch, a little pressure pad on this side, but it has a USB-C cable at the end. So with this attached to your camera, you can set this up. I will go through the instructions, and we will put a full description on everything of how it works. But whilst this is on, it is not recording absolutely everything, because anyone that uses these will understand that trying to find the footage of when you got that really cool shot for miles away, going through all that footage of it pointing at the ground, pointing at the sky, looking at some leaves, kind of makes you a little bit sick. So what this does is every time you press that, it will record the previous 5 seconds before the button press and the next 15 seconds. So every time you press this button, you're just getting them really cool moments. And obviously, if you do slightly miss it, pressing it, it records the previous 5 seconds or buffers it, and then it takes the next 15 seconds and you get all that really cool content, and not having to go through 240 minutes of this thing pointing at the ground and just looking at gravel and dirt. This works with both the 40mm and the 25mm. So again, if you're running CQB or anything like that, it's just looking at walls, looking at the floor. Every time you press this, it's going to catch that really cool moment, and you're going to have a lot of fun with it. So these are waterproof rated as well. So they have O-rings in the front. The SD card port is sealed. All the buttons are sealed. It is a rock solid piece of kit, and they are saying it is IP67 waterproof. So rain, slight submergence, everything like that. Again, the 25mm, the front end does come off, so you can change that plastic front end as well. So 5 productions. With the thicker glass, does it affect the image? No. The thicker glass, it is still crystal clear glass, so you're still going to see through it perfectly fine. It is flat, so it's not concaved or anything like that. But again, they've designed this protective glass to be run on this camera, so it's not going to affect it at all. You do have plenty of options with styles of footage. So if you're wanting 4K, this thing can do 4K at 30, or you could drop it down to sort of 1080 if you wanted to go all the way up to 120 frames a second. If you wanted to try and slightly slow your footage down, watch that BB fly through the sky a little bit more. Yeah, so it's got 1080, 2.7K, 4K, all that kind of stuff for all the people that love doing the YouTube stuff. And again, there are 2 options. So if you're a sneaky sniper, or you're fast and aggressive with your AR, SMG, or even pistol, it's really, really cool. Do they work in low light? Most cameras will struggle in sort of very low light, say CQB or anything like that. These haven't been tested in super low light. They're probably mostly designed for woodland outdoor use. If it's overcast, cloudy, they are going to be fine. They do have a natural ISO in there, so they will work in some sets of low light, but I don't know what the actual setting is. But they will have some power. But if it is pitch black, you're obviously not going to see anything at all. But for those that are just joining us, I will go through a few of the settings and features. So this is the RunCam 2 4K. 40mm, and this is the 25mm. So we are recommending the 40mm for snipers and DMRs, anywhere from like 30 to 70 meter engagements. The 25 is anything from about 25 to 50. Again, that's just the manufacturer recommendations for what is going to be crystal sharp and in focus. Anything beyond that, you're still going to record, it just might be a little bit blurry. A couple of the other features, do you have spares for this? There are no spares required unless you do crack the lens, but these have literally just come out. So in the future we will get we'll get more bits like the flashback cables. We'll get more bits like scope mounts and everything like that. But as for spares, there's nothing really to repair or replace apart from the glass, which will come from RunCam themselves. So as I was saying, rather than 3 buttons, it's got a much simpler user interface. So you've got the single on-off button and the mode button, and then the slider at the back is on-off. And with it on the table, you can hear it like a mobile phone. So it has a vibrate setting on here instead of a beep. Very, very cool for people trying to be stealthy and conserve sort of space on memory cards, battery power and everything like that. You can just click this on and off as and when you need it, and you have that sort of vibrate so you know that it's working, but it's not then beeping, giving you away flashing lights and saying, I'm over here, come and get me. Again, both of these work with the flashback cable, so you just simply press it, it records the previous 5 seconds from before you press the button and the next 15 seconds, so it just gives you that option of only capturing the really cool moments rather than having to sift through 240 minutes max recording time this has. So I know previously some cameras, they'd only let you record X amount of time. This does have 240 minutes of recording time. That will depend massively on the SD card that you put in here. And again, 32 gig up to 128 gig. If you put the wrong SD card on here, it will not work. Anything lower, or if you don't put a fast SD card in here, it will not record properly. So again, both Scottish Cat 32, what's the FPS? So at 4K, it records at 30. 1080, it can go all the way up to 120 frames. So again, most people, if you're trying to do a little bit of slow motion, you drop down to the HD, the 1080, you'll be able to slow it down slightly and watch your BB fly through the air and the guy wince when you hit him. Again, if you're just wanting standard really cool footage, I'd probably stick to about 1080-60. The 4K is going to be really cool. I think the 4K might be better if you're wanting to zoom in, but again, you're going to lose a little bit of resolution and quality on it. A couple of the really cool things on this as well, when you do set this up with your phone or anything like that, you don't have to post-produce a crosshair on it. The camera can do it for you. So especially if you connect this via Bluetooth to your phone and you copy a little bit of footage across, you can put that crosshair that people like putting on the camera, you can automatically do it and it puts it onto the footage for you rather than having to do it in post-production. If you want to just put a little clip on, say, Instagram or Facebook or anything, you don't have to put it into your computer and do a load of messing around. You can do it in the app that they have, which I think is very, very cool and neat. Humanoid on YouTube. If it's really hot, is there any chance of fogging up? I don't think so, because again, these are sealed in here. They are O-rings and everything like that, so it's no different to sort of thermal goggles. I'd very much doubt that they would fog up internally. They are a waterproof system, so again, they're only going to start fogging up or getting moisture inside if they have been opened during a game. So if it starts raining or starts getting humid and you take it off to try and clean the glass, afterwards I could see it potentially fogging up then, but if it's clean, set away and done properly beforehand, I don't think these would fog up at all. It is IP67 rated for waterproof, so that is probably one of the industry standards for sort of rain minus submersion and everything, submergence, everything like that. So they are very, very good at staying dry. But Paul Eastwood, can you do a test video for the website? That is definitely planned. We just wanted to get them on for the weekend, but we will definitely try and get some test footage out there just so you can see the different types of footage that you're going to get from this. Because it's quite easily telling you that these are going to be good for 30 to 70 meters, but obviously I can't dictate the width. So I think 30 to 70 meters, they reckon it's about an 8-degree view. So the further out you go, you can understand what that means. And the 25 is obviously about a 13-degree view. But yeah, without actually seeing the footage that's coming from this, it's very hard for me to show you how cool these things are going to be. Is there anything similar with night vision? To try and put a camera through night vision is very, very difficult or very, very expensive. There's a couple of different cameras out there. There's the Mohawk, there's a couple that go through PVS 14s, etc. But again, they're very, very expensive, and filming in night vision is very, very cool the first couple of times you do it, but after a while it does get a little bit samey, black and white footage of people running around buildings with very little engagement a lot of the times. I've done it a few times and you don't really get that much footage from it, to be honest, unless you get yourself a Mohawk camera on your head. But again, very, very expensive. These are just a very cool way of getting some little sort of extra bits. I wouldn't just run these. These are designed to be run in conjunction with like a GoPro or things like that. Or if you just wanted to throw a couple of little snippets on, say, Instagram or something like that, these are really, really cool. They're mainly designed to be an addition rather than a standalone, and running a couple of them. I mean, if you wanted to run both, you could have the long range and the short range stacked, or one on top of your scope and one further forward. Because, like I was saying, with the 25mm, you could quite easily stack that on a pistol, run around CQB, and get some really cool moments. With the 40mm, again, I've not got a scope on here, but again, you could sit this quite easily on the front of the rail here, or you can get clamps to go on the barrel and stick it out at the front, stick it out at the side, and again, do all the messing around in post-production to get the frame good and proper. But I was very excited to get these out. They are, you can grab these now if you want them. But yeah, we thought we wanted to get them out before the weekend, just so you could try and get your hands on them as quickly as possible. Very, very impressed with what we've seen so far. We're very, very excited to try and get some footage out there of them. But these have been the Scope Cam 2 4K. Waterproof. The new Flashback cable is just a magic and awesome addition. Recording the previous 5 seconds and then 15 seconds. Trying to sift through Scope Cam footage is probably one of the chores that a lot of Airsoft camera people really, really don't want to do. So this is going to take a massive chunk of time away from that and make it much, much easier. So if that's everything, really enjoy talking to you. It's always good people asking loads of questions. It makes my life easier as always. We'll be back on Monday with another live stream at about 4 PM. But until then, I'll see you in a bit. Bye.